Good afternoon, everyone. Today I want to invite you on a journey into the heart of football, a deep dive into one of the most compelling statistics that defines our sport. I'm not here to talk about yards, wins, or even championships. I'm here I'm here about the delicate balance between risk and reward in a game, comparing picks, that is interceptions, to touchdown rates among the top 20 quarterbacks of all time. Now, when you hear touchdown, you think of a celebration, precision, and pure success. And when you hear pure pick, short for interception, you imagine a mistake that can change the course of a game in an instant. But today, I want to see behind these seemingly straightforward numbers that lies in the story of guts, decision making, and even personal evolution on the field. By the end of our talk, you might just see these statistics as a metaphor for how we navigate the risk in our own lives. Let's begin by defining our terms. A touchdown is more than just a point scored. It's a moment of brilliance and a perfectly executed play where precision meets opportunity. In an instant, a well-thrown football transforms into a winning spark, a spark that ignites the whole crowd and charges the momentum of the game. On the other hand, a pick or an interception is a moment where the quarterback vision goes astray. It's not merely a mistake, it's an opportunity stolen by the opposition. But here's the twist. While touchdowns reveal what a quarterback can do at his best, interceptions reveal the risk that he's willing to take. And as it turns out, some of the greatest quarterbacks in history have built their legacy on knowing exactly when to risk everything. Today we're going to look at how these two metrics, touchdown rates to interceptions, counteract for the top 20 quarterbacks to ever don a helmet, and what it reveals about their styles, their decisions, and ultimately their greatness. Now, you might wonder, who exactly are these top 20 quarterbacks? There's always a debate about rankings in any sports, and football is no different. For today's talk, let's embrace a broad consciousness that contributes to legends such as Joe Montana, Tom Brady, the GOAT, Peyton Manning, Brett Favre, Johnny Utilis, Don Marino, and many others. Each one came at with a unique approach and a signature style balanced by aggressive play with smart decision making. Imagine a moment for a painter with a carefully chosen palette. Some of these painters use bold strikes, risking a bit to overreach a flavor of dramatic effect. Others use fine, deliberate strokes that rarely stray from the canvas. In our list of quarterbacks, we'll see both types. The daredevils who risk throwing it into tight windows, and the meticulous strategists who rarely give away the ball. As we compare touchdown rates to picks, we're not just looking at numbers. We're peering into the very nature of risk management. In a low pick count is always a hallmark for brilliance, or any occasional high risk throw leads to electrifying touchdowns that redefine the game. These are the questions that we'll explore today. Let's talk numbers. In football analytics, we often use two metrics to assess the quarterback's performance: touchdown rate and interception rate. We might formally call them the touchdown frequency, the number of touchdown passes per attempt, and later the pick frequency, the numbers of interceptions per attempt. Often we combine these into a single ratio, the touchdown to pick ratio, the touchdown to interception ratio, a statistics that is informed in debates for decades. Take Tom Brady, for example. His career is a textbook case of balancing precision with timely aggression. His ratio is marked by an exceptionally low number of interceptions compared to his abundant touchdowns. In contrast, with someone like Brett Favre, a legendary gunslinger known for his improvisational style. For Favre's career statistics show how he threw quite a few interceptions throughout his long career, but he is also amazed an incredible number of touchdowns. His approach: high risk, high reward. By comparing these matrices across the top 20 quarterbacks, we see the distinct profiles that emerge. Some players have optimized their games so that every pass carries almost surgical precision, minimizing the opportunities for the opposition. Others have embraced the risk to create those breathtaking plays that fans remember for a lifetime. And then there are those who have evolved over time, learning from their early mistakes and perfecting their decision making as their careers progressed. Through these numbers, we are granted a glimpse into the very psyche of these players. Are they risk-averse masterminds? Are they daring risk takers? Who knows that sometimes you must go long to win big? The statistics compel us to ask, is it better for us to consistently be cautious or to embrace risk with a possibility of a spectacular reward? And as we study these legends, we find that there is no one size fits all answers. Let's examine the quarterback's touchdown to interception ratio on this graph I made in Desmos. Right here, you have the GOAT, Tom Brady. He hasn't thrown the least amount of interceptions, but he's thrown the most amount of touchdowns out of everyone. And it's not even in competition between Tom Brady and Drew Brees, with Tom Brady throwing about 80 more passes than Drew Brees in his entire season. To put that in perspective, most quarterbacks only throw 2 or 3 touchdowns a game in an average NFL game. Now, if we look at Drew Brees, he's the second greatest quarterback of all time, while Tom Brady is below the average number of interceptions thrown 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 by quarterbacks for the amount of touchdowns that they have. So the average touchdown to interception rate, Drew Brees is above it. To take that even further, Bert Favre, which is the 4th ranked quarterback according to StatMoose, Bert Favre has thrown the most has thrown the most interceptions. Or if you look at this person, which just barely made the top 20, Vinny Travis Day, he has thrown the second most interceptions, and he isn't even there. While if you look at someone like this person, who has thrown like Aaron Rodgers, which isn't even in the GOAT conversation, and has thrown an incredible amount of touchdowns with not as many interceptions, and has just about the same amount of touchdowns as Bert Favre, is ranked at about number 5 when it comes to touchdowns, but he's not even in the conversation when it comes to the greatest top 5 or top 3 quarterbacks of all time. Now, say if we look at this person, Russell Wilson, he's thrown the least amount of interceptions in the top 20 quarterbacks, but similar to Aaron Rodgers, he's not even in the conversation. If we look at this person is Peyton Manning, and he's ranked dead last in the top 25 quarterbacks, and he hasn't thrown in many interceptions, but he's thrown a lot of touchdowns, and he started, but he's known. So what does this mean? Tom Brady, who has had an incredible touchdown interception rate, is the GOAT. But Brett Favre is number 4, who's thrown way more picks than Russell Wilson, which is at number 12, and Aaron Rodgers, which is at number 5, has thrown about the same amount of touchdowns, but half as much picks. So what does this mean for who can be considered a good quarterback? Well, let's compare. If we look at Russell Wilson's last season, he played for the Pittsburgh Steelers. In their Steelers, they went 10-7, and they went .588. Well, that's their win percentage, and if I'm not mistaken, they didn't go to the playoffs. While if we look at Tom Brady, his last seasons, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers went 8-9 and was a 4.71, which is worse than this record. But because they had an automatic bye, Tom Brady was able to take his team all the way to the Super Bowl. In his last season, he went out with a ring. How many rings does Russell Wilson has? None. How many NFC titles or even AFC titles does he have? None. So they did go to the playoffs though. They lost in a wild card. So what does this mean? The measure of a good quarterback is not determined by how many touchdowns or picks they throw. It's determined by the productivity and efficiency of each quarterback and how they get the job done. Thank you. Let's dig deeper into the fundamental trade-off that these statistics represent. Every pass thrown by a quarterback carries an inherent risk. When you decide to launch a ball downfield, you're essentially casting your vote for victory, or if intercepted, for defeat. The touchdown to interception ratio, then, is more than just a number. It's a story of decision making under pressure. Consider two archetypes: the careful strategist and the fearless gunslinger. The strategist formulates each play with precision. Every throw is calculated. Every pass is measured, resulting in his consistently high touchdown rate compared to his remarkably low pick rate. His game is methodical, built on the belief of success, earned by gradually through the discipline and execution. Now, look at the gunslinger. He thrives on high-stakes plays. His passes are daring, sometimes even improvisational, and yes, occasionally they result in picks. But his arm finds a mark, and rewards are enormous, spectacular touchdowns that shift the momentum of the entire game. This style is a high-risk, high-reward. And there is really interesting takeaway. Both of these approaches have helped shape some of our top quarterbacks. Think about Patrick Mahomes, Martin Mashro, whose cannon-like arm is an imaginative play calling and body to risk real time. Yes, his game includes moments where his risky throws goes away, but it includes some of the most extraordinary plays you've ever seen. His willingness to stretch the boundaries of what is possible on the field is reflected by his touchdown numbers, and even sometimes he produces picks. The debate becomes a larger question about what is the value of the leader on the field. Is it flawless execution every time, or is it boldness to seize opportunity and redefine what is possible? The top quarterbacks of all time have all, in various measures, mastered the balance, learning when to be surgical and learning when to embrace the unpredictable. Now, I want to step back and remind you that while these statistics are illuminating, they only scratch the surface of what makes a quarterback truly great. Behind every touchdown and every interception is a human being making a split-second decision in environments filled with both pressure and uncertainty. Leadership on the field is about more than just numbers. It's about inspiring teammates, making smart adjustments under fire, and reading and reading an ever-changing defense. The best quarterbacks not only manage the inherent risk of their passing decisions, but they grow from those experiences, and they learn how sometimes a pick is not a sign of failure, but a stepping stone towards refinement and growth. These stories of adaptation and resilience are what connect the dots between picks and touchdowns. They teach us how in any pursuit, whether it's football or a field in our own personal lives, the path to greatness is often paved with both success and missteps. It is in the bold attempts, even those who don't work out, that we ultimately find the courage and the insight to be innovative and, in the end, successful. Every time a quarterback steps onto the field, he is faced with the same duality, the potential for glory and the possibility of error. And that is in the tension that we find the beauty of the game, much like the beauty in our own lives, where we risk the reward to shape our personal narratives. Before I leave you today, let me leave you with this. When you next watch a football game, or even when you're facing a tough decision in your life, remember that the balance between risk and reward is not simple black and white calculation. It's a dynamic of an ever-evolving process. The touchdown to interception ratio, much like any success rate in life, is a story of taking chances, learning from mistakes, and continuously pushing the boundaries of what you believe is possible. Whether you're a quarterback on the gridiron or someone who's tracing their dreams off the field, remember that sometimes you have to risk a pick or throw a touchdown. Greatness isn't defined by playing it safe. It's defined by the courage of stepping forward, and even when the outcome is never guaranteed. Thank you for joining me in exploring how these statistics is not as simple as they may seem. Encapsulate so much about our game, and indeed about our lives. Let's celebrate both the triumphs and the learning, knowing that every risk is an opportunity to shine.